You know, for most of history, we've had this picture of the universe as a finished product, a grand, unchanging stage for everything to happen on. But what if that idea is completely backward? Today, we're going to dive into a pretty radical idea, inspired by physicist Lee Smolin, that sees the universe not as a static thing, but as a living, evolving system.
Right, so for hundreds of years, the big idea in science was the clockwork universe. You got to think of Isaac Newton here. The whole concept was that everything, and I mean everything, from an apple falling from a tree to the planets wheeling in their orbits, it all followed these simple, eternal, and totally predictable laws. The universe was this perfect machine. A beautiful idea for sure, but it kind of left no room for anything genuinely new to ever happen. And this is where the story takes a fascinating turn. We're talking about a huge shift in thinking here, moving away from the universe as a machine and starting to see it as a process. A system that is constantly creating, constantly changing, and actually growing more complex over time. So how on earth did we get to this idea? Well, that comfortable clockwork view of reality, it got completely shattered in the 20th century. And not by just one, but by two totally revolutionary theories that flipped our understanding of the world on its head. The only problem? They don't exactly play well together. This is, without a doubt, the great crisis in modern physics. On one hand, you've got our best theory of gravity and the cosmos, and on the other, our best theory of matter and energy. Both of them have been tested to an insane level of precision, and they work perfectly, in their own little domains. The problem is, when you try to bring them together, the math just falls apart. They paint two completely different pictures of what reality even is. So here's the heart of the conflict. General relativity, that's Einstein's masterpiece. It describes a smooth, continuous, and predictable universe of planets, stars, and galaxies. But then you have quantum mechanics, which describes the incredibly bizarre world of atoms and particles. And that world is jumpy, it's uncertain, and it's all based on probabilities. You just can't have a universe that is fundamentally smooth and fundamentally jumpy at the same time. One of them, or let's be real, probably both of them, has to be an incomplete story.
And listen, this isn't just some minor academic debate. Einstein himself knew this was the central mission. He got it. Until we could figure out a way to unify these two pillars of physics, we wouldn't have a final theory of reality. We'd just have two really good approximations. And solving this puzzle has been the holy grail of physics for almost a century now.
Okay, so how do we bridge this massive gap? Well, the argument we're digging into today suggests that we need more than just fancier math. We actually need a completely different way of thinking about reality itself. It's a philosophical shift, really.
This idea actually goes way back to a famous debate. Newton, he believed space was like this big, empty container, a fixed stage where all the drama of the universe plays out. But his rival, a guy named Leibniz, he argued, no way. There is no stage. The universe is the network of relationships between things. The properties of an object, its position, its speed, they don't exist in a vacuum. They only have meaning in relation to everything else. This relational view, it's the key.
So if reality is just this giant web of relationships, then complex stuff doesn't need a master builder. It can just emerge, all on its own. This is the whole idea behind a self-organizing system. I mean, think about a flock of birds, right? Or an ant colony. There's no leader shouting orders. All that complex, intelligent-looking behavior just comes from simple rules that each individual follows by interacting with its neighbors.
Okay, so that's the theory. A little abstract, I know, but let's look at a totally mind-blowing, real-world example of a self-organizing system that spans hundreds of thousands of light years, a galaxy.
We tend to look at pictures of galaxies and think of them as these beautiful but kind of dead collections of stars just hanging out in space. But this new perspective asks us to see a galaxy for what it really is, a living, breathing ecosystem constantly recycling matter and energy in this vast, self-sustaining cycle. And this process is just brilliant. It all kicks off with these simple clouds of gas. Gravity yanks them together, they get hot, and boom, you've got stars. The most massive of these stars become these cosmic factories, forging heavy elements, like the carbon in your body, deep inside their cores. Then, in one last spectacular act, they explode as supernovae, seeding the entire galaxy with these brand new ingredients. And that material, it gets swept up to create the next generation of stars and planets. It's a perfect, closed-loop cosmic recycling program.
So the crucial point here is that a galaxy has all the signs of a living ecosystem. It's not in some boring, stable state. It's a dynamic system powered by these huge flows of energy. and the processes feed themselves. Supernovae create the conditions for new stars, which in turn lead to, you guessed it, more supernovae. The galaxy isn't just sitting there, it's actively building more and more complexity over billions of years. So, if galaxies are these giant, self-organizing ecosystems, what does that imply about the universe as a whole? And maybe more to the point, what does it say about us? This is one of the deepest questions we can possibly ask, right? In that old clockwork model of the universe, the machine that's slowly winding down, life seems like a total accident, an unbelievable long shot against the relentless march towards decay. But what if the universe isn't winding down? What if it's actually building up? These two worldviews lead to starkly different conclusions. I mean, they couldn't be more opposite. In the old view, we're a statistical fluke, a cosmic mistake. But in this new, evolving view, life becomes a natural, maybe even an inevitable outcome. If the universe is a system that is fundamentally geared towards creating complexity, then life isn't an anomaly. It's just what the universe does.
And that right there is the ultimate takeaway. Our own existence is nested inside this grand hierarchy of self-organizing systems. Our biosphere is one of them. It's part of the galactic ecosystem, which might itself be part of an even larger cosmic evolutionary process. So life isn't something separate from the universe, looking in from the outside. No, we are a fundamental expression of its creative, evolving nature.
Johannes Kepler, the astronomer who first figured out how planets orbit the sun, imagined the cosmos as a kind of celestial harmony. And you know what? Maybe he was more right than he ever could have known. In an evolving, relational universe, the elementary particles and the fundamental forces are the instruments, and it's their interactions that create this incredible symphony of atoms, stars, galaxies, and life. To get music this beautiful, everything has to be in tune, everything has to work together. And maybe the most wonderful thing of all isn't just that we get to listen to this cosmic symphony, it's that we're actually a part of it.